Hi, guys. I have our special guest, Justin, here, if I point in the right direction, and Dave. And we're going to talk more about cyber insurance. So bring your questions if you have them. And if you watch this later, bring them. We can always ask Justin later and bring you the answers, right? So,
Absolutely.
The number one question we were just talking about before we went live is why do they need cyber insurance?
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming part of, I guess your insurance portfolio. I mean, anyone that's connected to the internet obviously runs the risk of, some sort of ransomware event, a business email compromise, some sort of cyber crime event. For example, cyber crime, I mean, it's up 600% since the pandemic. Even on our side of the desk, ransomware is just a huge, huge, huge problem. So it's security is kind of the first layer, right? I mean, we take a layered approach with our clients when we're talking to them. So you're getting to the point now, even if you don't want to do the security, if you want to achieve a policy, you have to do the security or you don't get the policy. So in other words, the carriers might before say, hey, we want you to do 2 or 3 things. Now we're going to make you do 10 things. And if you don't do these 10 things, guess what? You don't get the cyber insurance. So, again, I would say if cyber insurance isn't that important, unplug your network Monday morning at 8 o'clock, turn it back on at 5 o'clock, and let me know how your day goes, because that's what it's like going through a ransomware event. And, Bitcoin doesn't grow on trees, right? The digital currency is the payment method. And it's not like you can go down to the bank and get a line of credit or something like that. So, again, we've had people that will go and engage a cyber policy that had an event like that before, and they're down 2 and 3 weeks. And they tell us, I mean, they've lost clients. I'll do anything not to go through that again. So, there's a financial aspect to it, but there's also a mental aspect. I mean, we've had clients that have commented where they've had to get on certain medications or take sleeping pills or ask this carrier offer PTSD counseling, light therapy, knitting therapy. So, I mean, these are things that I wouldn't share that I don't read on the internet, but with 2,000 cyber policies, we see a lot. And so, yes, I would tell you that a cyber policy anymore, especially if you're in high targeted areas, but it's getting to the point where any area, they're not looking at necessarily industries, they're looking at vulnerabilities. So it used to be, there still are industries, healthcare, financial, there's certain sectors that are breached more than others just because, if you're able to access their systems, the pot of gold's a little bit bigger. But for the most part, when these ransomware attacks take place or these business email compromises, they're pretty much, it's like as a kid, when you throw out a net into the water, any fish that swim into the net, then they reel in the net. I mean, that's all they're doing is they're going, okay, hey, there's this vulnerability on Exchange, or there's this vulnerability when it comes to this particular software. We're going to write code, go out and search and see anyone that doesn't have it, and boom, we reel on that net.
Yeah.
So Justin, typically, do you see the attack locking up files or shutting their internet down, or what are they doing to put you out of business or bring you down?
Yeah, it could be locking up files. I mean, backups are extremely important, but to even, on that point, right? I mean, even if you have backups, we're starting to see that they'll go in, and if they have sensitive data like social security numbers, that they'll go and they'll start contacting or threatening to contact your clients with the information saying, hey, there's been a breach. Here's the last 6 digits of your social security number. Oh, how do we have that? Why don't you go ask XIZ Chiropractic or PDQ accounting firm, and they'll tell you, right? So they're shaming the businesses into paying, or forcing them, I guess, into paying these ransoms. If not, they'll start releasing data and doing stuff like that.
Right.
So, again, I can't preface it enough, and the carriers now are starting to make you do it, is, having the proper security in place. I'm a consumer of IT services, just probably like everyone on this, this Facebook Live event. And you know what? There's 2 things I can't operate. If I don't have my systems and I don't have my phone, I can't talk and look up things. I can't operate my business. I might try to save money on staples and bottled water and other things that aren't that important. But when it comes to security and it comes to, the phone systems, at least in my business, if we don't have it, we can't operate, So, making sure that you've got the proper security is vital. But then again, if things go wrong, don't you want someone on your doorstep in 3 or 4 hours taking care of this? That's why you need a cyber policy. You don't want to go through this exercise alone, because the carriers have vendors, what they call panelists, where they got forensic specialists. They've got, folks, breach consulting specialists. I mean, the carriers over the last 24 months have gotten really, really good at incident response.
So can you walk our viewers through a little bit about what kinds of things that you take care of when something like that goes wrong, when ransomware takes your business down for days on end?
Yeah, so your cyber policy is going to be an incident response plan in a way, so what you'll do is, you'll end up contacting a claims email or calling in, on a phone number and getting the claim turned in. A claims adjuster is going to immediately assign probably counsel. And then counsel, who specializes in the cyber, is almost going to act like the general contractor. How the home builder will get the plumber and the HVAC people. They're going to get the forensics people. They're going to get the folks that convert the money into Bitcoin. They're going to get PR people if you need it, right? So they're going to kind of act as the general contractor in the cyber claim. So you're paying for incident response.
Right. And you kind of take. Go ahead, Dave.
I hadn't realized that, but that's a huge benefit, because just to have a phone number to call someone, because most people it's going to happen to them, and I think a lot of them probably embarrassed to tell anybody, right? They've been attacked or ransomware or whatever, but that they have just a phone number to call their insurance company, and the insurance company has resources for you immediately. That's a huge plus to me.
Yeah, and it's not, like I said, it's not going anywhere. I mean, I was reading an article earlier that talked, the ransomware attempts, right? It set a record in the first half of 2021 with 300 million. So, I mean, it's not on that pace. For 2021, we're going to have over 600 million ransomware attempts. It's not going to stop, right? So, as much as it's convenient, right, with all the access to, our businesses compared to 5, 6, 7 years ago, there are some exposures that you have to pay attention to. Again, if done properly, it's a layered security approach, right? And I'm sure you talk about this with your clients, but, using your home example, I mean, at first you put on a lock on the door, and then if the lock doesn't work, then you get a Ring doorbell. And if the Ring doorbell doesn't work, then you get a German Shepherd. If the German Shepherd doesn't work, then you build a moat around your house. And if the moat doesn't work, then you put a tank on the other side, right? My point is, you keep layering it, and with those layers, it becomes more complicated to do it. The problem is that some organizations think, oh, I'm not in a specific industry, or oh, I'm only a certain size, I don't really have to address the layered security. You couldn't be 100% wrong.
Yeah, I had a customer one time, not a customer of ours, but someone we were, trying to bring on board, and their IT manager told me to my face, well, I don't care if they get our CAD drawings, our blueprints. We don't care. And it's like, you don't understand what they're trying. They don't want them either. They want your money.
Right.
And they will hold that hostage along with all the information they can get from your network. Like you said, PHI information, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately the goal is, it's kidnap and ransom business. They want to shut you down. They want to take your kid, and then they're going to ask you how much you want to have your kid back.
Yep.
In this case, the kid's your business.
Yeah.
And it always astounds me, the pipeline that got shut down here several months ago. It's like, you don't have any money to bolster your security, but you have $4 million to pay the terrorists,
Right. Yeah. It's, I mean, again, you want to prepare, and if there's going to happen to be a house fire, by doing security with the cyber policy, you can probably keep it to a 1-bedroom fire. If you're not doing security and you don't have a cyber policy, it's probably going to be a whole house fire. It's not going to be very good. So, just like I said, just be careful. Make sure cyber's got to be part of the portfolio. I think you have to understand that not all cyber policies are created equal. We get a lot of submissions in our firm where, especially professional services. I'm one where I carry insurance, agency, and O, but you could have doctors that carry medical malpractice, or architects and engineers that carry professional liability, or accountants that carry professional liability. A lot of these carriers will have add-ons, cyber add-ons. They tend to, just address the PHI, which is protected health information, or the PII, person identifiable information. So in other words, if that information is exposed, they'll provide credit monitoring. But again, a lot of these policies, that we've seen recently, now maybe they're changing or going to change, but they don't address the cyber extortion, the ransomware events. They don't address the cyber crime events. I've been through hundreds of claims. What's going on right now is ransomware and cyber crimes problems, not PHI and PII. I mean, between Equifax and all the breaches, everyone probably has all of our information anyway.
Probably. Scary thought. So what kinds of questions do you think people should ask their insurance provider, that their policy would be, good enough to cover them?
Yeah, I think, it's probably, interviewing the agent or the agency, because this is a specialized type of product. In other words, your auto, workers' comp insurance, those are more regulated type policies. So I would shop price on those things. But when you're getting into cyber, I mean, again, the devil's in the details. So does your policy include bricking coverage? Some do, some don't. Does your policy include cryptojacking? Some do, some don't. Invoice manipulation? Some do, some don't. Contingent bodily injury. So the devil's in the details. I mean, if you go to somebody and they're like, hey, we do landscapers, bakery, home, and auto, but we're going to give it a try on the cyber policy, I probably wouldn't go that route. If it's, hey, we do, hundreds and thousands of these policies a year, they probably read through it. Because the sneaky thing is, a lot of these agents don't take the time to read through the policy. There is no way you can specialize in home policies, auto policies, manufacturing policies, landscaper policies, medical malpractice policies, cyber policy. You can't do it. If that were the case, then you would have, doctors that do heart surgeries, brain surgeries, knee surgeries, elbow surgery. They don't. They specialize. So specialized type of insurance involves a specialist, just like in a health, situation. If you got a heart problem, you don't go to your ear, nose, and throat specialist.
Right. So is there companies who specifically offer cyber insurance to a company like you that has, obviously, I'm assuming anyway, you sell many different companies' insurance, but you go to one who specializes in the cyber insurance?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we have access to go to 40 or 50 different carriers, but
sure.
Going through the claims process, we tend to just stick with 5. That we've been through it. So because there are some times where we need there's loss mitigations provisions in the policy. Loss mitigation means the policy doesn't cover this, but we can go above and beyond the policy to initiate a $30,000 check to get us out of a $200,000 problem, right? So they can do that. If you don't work with somebody all the time, that carrier probably isn't going to do that, So, if you're doing millions of dollars with the carrier and you're asking them and working with them, they're probably going to initiate that loss mitigation. And I just bring that up as an example, Does a carrier have to? No. But if it makes financial sense and you've got a good relationship, then yeah. And I think, there are agencies or, agents that might specialize. So you might be in a bigger brokerage house, but they have a cyber division. That's fine, right? But again, you want to make sure that this isn't the second or third knee surgery that they've done. Have they written hundreds of cyber policies? Chances are, if they have, they've probably gone through the policy form and they understand it, in better detail than the people doing landscapers, bakeries, homes, and autos.
Yeah, and we use the same argument for our cybersecurity services. We have lots of clients that we take care of, and we've done some cleanups for our clients, so yeah, absolutely. So
these policies, the carriers are asking more questions, right? So yeah. I would say, embrace the questions. You have to go through it because it's probably means it's a good thing. It's probably a broader policy. It's probably a more well-written policy. Even if you have to spend 15 or 20%, I know we're all watching dollars, and all that sort of stuff. But again, there are certain types of policies, auto, workers' comp, shop price on those, price those out, right? But, you want to make sure when it comes to a cyber policy, you're getting with the, Nike, Adidas, or Under Armour of the shoe industry, right? I mean, you don't want to go with somebody where, I bought these shoes and a month later, the soles are ripping off. You're going to end up buying another pair of shoes and it's going to cost you more than had you just bought the right pair of shoes out of the gate.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Good information. Is there anything else on our list that you wanted to cover, Dave?
I didn't click on it, but no, I think the points you brought up were very interesting in the beginning. If it's hard, you're going to be better off, and then, like you said, go with the known company that, not Joe's insurance company, but the company that more or less specializes in it. Kind of common sense.
Yeah, And I think, again, leaving this, I think the biggest thing to understand is that these policies aren't created equal. There is no set standards. Different carriers ask different things because they think that certain questions are important. Other ones might see claims and say, no, these set of questions are important, right? But, making sure that you're invested into security and then making sure that you're buying a comprehensive standalone cyber policy. I mean, if you do those two things, things happen, right? I mean, they do. But at least, again, it's the degree of the problem, right? If it's, instead of it being a Cat 5 tornado, maybe it's a tropical storm or a Cat 1 tornado where, yes, there's some inconvenience, but the inconvenience isn't that great and you can bounce back within a day or a couple of days, So, just be prepared, continue doing the right things because these problems aren't going to go away anytime soon. There's a lot of money being made by these bad actors. And unfortunately, it's not going to stop. So we have to just deal with the reality of the world and how it is today, and we can get through it. But again, it's going to require security, and make sure you got that cyber policy that if things go wrong, that you can call upon.
Absolutely. Excellent.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate your time, Justin. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, thanks for having me, and enjoy your guys' day.
Yeah, you too. And make sure you get over to our website, sign up for our newsletter because we share all kinds of tips, to help you with your business needs and your computing needs and technology and cybersecurity. So make it a great day. We'll see you later.